Her record is his record.
Well, they work together.
That's all you need, President Trump.
Tyrus and the TikTok influencer Harry got into an entertaining debate on the Piers Morgan show. The topic was about Joe Biden stepping down and Kamala taking over. The topic brought some interesting arguments, so let's get into it.
Uncensored. I mean, you were completely wrong. Not only did Biden not stay in the race, but he certainly won't be president again. So do you accept you were completely wrong?
Yeah, I think I was going based off of publicly available information. All of the information available was that Joe Biden was staying in. He consistently told reporters he was staying in. He said, I'm the guy. And then he huddled with advisors in Delaware, saw the data, said it wasn't looking good, and made the honorable decision to bow out.
Here's a recap. In his previous meeting on the Piers Morgan show, Harry told Piers he believed that Biden would win against Trump. We can say that was a horrible take since Biden isn't even in the race anymore. But do you believe Biden took the honorable position to bow out?
But with respect, why would a young, dynamic guy like you, how old are you?
21.
You're 21, so you're 60 years younger than Joe Biden.
That's right.
Right, it was blatantly obvious to everybody that Biden was done, especially after the debate. Why would you continue to pretend that he wasn't?
That's a bold question from Piers. Let's take a look at Harry's response.
Because I look at the record, I'm always of the view that achievements and policy matters more than like this talk we have in the media of, oh, Biden's this, oh, Biden's that. I've met the man as well. I've talked to him. He was fantastic. He was sharp. I had questions.
When was that?
That was in May.
He was sharp?
Yeah.
How sharp?
Very sharp. He answered
it was around
my
that time
questions
he was falling off stage.
We can agree on some stats, and we can also agree on the effect of Mother Nature, getting old. We can truly say that the 2024 Biden is not the same as the 2014 Biden. And well, we can agree that the current Biden is unfit to run for president. But let's hear what Piers had to add.
He was tumbling
face planting. I mean,
tumbling down the steps of Air Force One, falling off bicycles. He was saying all sorts of gobbledygook in statements which the White House had to rewind. So how sharp was he?
Piers is stating some hard facts, and we can agree on the facts. Biden wasn't at his best physically and mentally.
I mean, he was great. I gave him questions he didn't have beforehand. He answered them in depth, and we had a conversation after the cameras were turned off. I had no problems then. I had no problems now. I still think Joe Biden is fit to serve. If he were the candidate, I'd still think he's fit to serve.
Really?
What a bold statement from Sisson. But let me know, do you think Biden could run for president if he didn't drop out? Let's get back to it.
Okay, Tyrus. Joe Biden is still fit to serve. I mean, the guy I watched last night doing this national address, I'm sorry, I felt it was really sad. It was elder abuse.
Honestly, I agree with Piers. Biden didn't look his best during the address, and this shows why he dropped out. But Tyrus had something to add.
I think at this point, we're arguing about the wrong thing. Whether he's fit to serve or not fit to serve, history was made in the sense that the donors basically said no more money.
Right.
And they don't do that because they think, oh, the polling shows you're down this month.
We can all agree with Tyrus's statement. In July, when Biden was reassuring voters and donors that he was the best man, some of the biggest donors called for his replacement, which soon was Kamala Harris. The donors even withheld funds. Back to the debate.
We need to get away from talking points. I'm glad that he stepped down because I took no joy in criticizing speeches from somebody who was doing the best they could. And he probably has moments where he's brilliant, but that's the ugliness of aging.
Another great point from Tyrus. We can agree that aging is a serious factor. That's why there's something known as retirement. Sometimes we would want it to go for as long as Biden wanted to. But aging takes some attributes physically and mentally, and you find yourself not how you were. Moving forward to the debate.
But then he said this about passing the torch. Let's listen to this clip.
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
No, I'm sorry, Harry. That was just a blatant lie.
Do you agree with Piers? Was it a lie?
He didn't decide it was time to pass the torch only the day before he quit. He was absolutely gung-ho. I'm going to be running. I'm going to be president. I'm going to win 4 more years, blah, 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 blah. Even in the speech last night, he said he thinks he still has it in him to do another term of office.
What's your opinion on Piers' statement? Do you think Biden knew his time was done, or was he forced out? Let me know. Piers had a lot to say on this matter.
But that's not what happened. What happened was the Democrat grandees, Barack Obama, the Clintons, Chuck Schumer, Hollywood stars like George Clooney penning op-ed pieces in newspapers and so on, they all collaborated with the donors, as Tyrus said, who yanked the money, to torch him. He was torched by his own side.
I certainly agree with Piers. They saw that Biden would be destroyed by Trump and they needed a replacement. I really love how Piers pointed that out, but his guest Harry had something to add on. Let's take a look.
I mean, I think it's a combination of things. I think that there was obviously concern among party elites, you might call them. I don't know if that's the word.
But well, there was a concern. There was a poll came out on Sunday morning saying he was 7 points down in Michigan.
Right.
As Frank Luntz said, one of the 3 crucial swing states. And at that point, bang, the rope was pulled, right?
But it's also it was also his decision.
Do you agree with Harry's statement? As we can agree that Biden might have stayed in the race, the stats and data can't lie. Things weren't going in the right direction for him, and this was a major concern to donors and voters. But let me know what you think.
He could have stayed in the race and said, like, I'm the nominee. I got the votes. I won the primary. I'm going to get the delegates. I'm going to be the nominee. But he looked at the data and made the honorable decision, said, no, I'm not going to.
But is it that honorable to do it now? I mean,
That sounds great, but let's be honest. Nancy Pelosi walked in and said, we can do it.
The easy way or the hard way?
The hard way.
Honestly, I don't know what Harry is talking about. I don't see anything honorable. I see problems for Kamala, who currently has less time in her pocket against a powerful Trump. The Democrats should have done it sooner, and we see where Piers is coming from. I also agree with Tyrus about Nancy Pelosi, who helped pressure Joe Biden to end his 2024 campaign. Moving forward to the debate,
did it massively earlier in the process, did it at the start of the year, which gave their replacement the chance to really build proper momentum. By giving Kamala Harris only 4 months, it could end up being, we don't know yet, and she might well turn it around and she might win. So let's put that caveat there. But if she was to lose quite badly, you could look back at it and say that had he pulled out a lot earlier, it would have given her a better chance.
Do you think Kamala Harris will beat the odds, shock the world, and become president of the U.S.? As I stated earlier, and the Democrats should have realized earlier, as time is a key factor in the presidential race. Honestly, 4 months isn't enough. Let's take a look at what Harry has to say.
But I think we can both agree that the political circumstances back then with like a Lyndon Johnson was different than now, right? The reason it's happening now.
Well, not really.
In
his case, it was the Vietnam War had made him very unpopular.
Right.
So they thought he would lose.
Right.
Here, Joe Biden's physical and cognitive state made him increasingly unpopular.
We can agree with Piers' response, right?
And despite all the achievements that people like you queue up to tell us he made, and I'm not disputing some of them are genuine achievements, but his approval rating's at 37%. I keep hearing this week, he's the greatest president of modern times. Why is he so unpopular then?
What a good point from Piers. I mean, Biden supporters can sometimes be deluded. Biden has achieved some things, but being the best president in modern times is crazy.
Approval.
We know the reason. Historically, the American people will blame the commander-in-chief for things that are often out of their control. So inflation and gas prices, I think anybody who's honest will recognize that Joe Biden obviously didn't cause those things.
What do you think of Harry's statement? Was Biden really a great president, and were his problems out of his reach? Let me know. Back to the debate, Tyrus had something to say.
The first day he got in office and shut down the oil pipe, he hit the green light for Russia and China. He changed the dynamic of the oil. When he who controls the oil controls the way things go. So he made a lot of, but again, I don't believe that these policies were Joe Biden's. I believe that the real issue is that whether it was Kamala Harris or whomever.
Many of the citizens in the U.S. might agree on what Tyrus is saying. There have been rumors that Joe Biden hasn't been calling the shots during his time of presidency, and this might be true. But what do you think about this? This sums it all up, and in general, it was pretty much a nice discussion. Do you think Kamala will win the presidential race? Was this the right move by the Democrats? Let us know in the comment section.